So let's start this video off with some little known facts about your skin. Now you might have heard it's your body's largest organ. That's true, but what you probably haven't heard is it takes up 16% total on average of your body weight. So for a 200-pound guy, that's over 30 pounds of skin. In fact, if your skin was laid out, it would take up on average 2 square meters. Now the places on your body with the thickest skin, that's going to be the palms of your hand and the soles of your feet, coming in at about 4 millimeters on average. Where's your skin the thinnest? Your face, specifically your eyelids, at 0.5 millimeters. Now you might remember from human biology that the skin is divided into 2 parts. You have the outer epidermis and the inner dermis. Why the division? What's the difference between the 2 layers? In a nutshell, that outer epidermis, mostly made up of dead cells that are full of keratin. Keratin, a really tough protein that allows that protective outer layer to keep in moisture and to protect the body from pathogens, basically infection. And just to be clear, in the epidermis, not all the cells are dead. Only that top layer, the base cells, that's where we're seeing replenishment. In fact, every 30 days, we have almost all the cells in the entire epidermis being replaced. The dermis, on the other hand, is where we have those connective tissues. You're going to see sweat glands there. Why? To regulate temperature. You're going to see hair follicles there. Why? So that we can sense what's going on the outside. Now, as you age, and this can start in your 20s, your skin starts to go through changes. One of the first ones we see is your skin starts to get thinner. All of a sudden, you're just not replenishing it as quick. So the average layers, it just starts to get thinner. We also see your skin starts to get more brittle. It just doesn't have the elasticity. So your skin is more prone to damage. And gents, even if you've got young, healthy skin, you want to be careful of outside elements that can damage it. First up, harsh chemicals. So using the wrong type of cleaners. This right here is made for the hands. Hands, as I talked about, have 8 times thicker skin than what you're going to find on parts of the face. So why would you use this on your face? It's going to pull out too much moisture and it can hurt the skin on your face. Next up, using tools. A washcloth is fine as long as you don't scrub the face hard. A lot of people, they think it's better to scrub hard. That is not something you want to do on your skin. Next up, you want to pay attention to the temperature of the water. Don't go with hot water. Go with warm water or even cool water. That's going to be best for your skin. And of course, protect yourself from the UV rays of the sun. This is going to cause premature aging. Yes, you may get a killer tan, but you are not going to look so great in a few years. My point here, gents, why I gave you all this information, because I want you to understand that your skin is a complex system. And what works for one guy isn't necessarily going to work for you. Seriously, a 23-year-old roustabout working on the oil rigs in West Texas, he's going to have different skin issues than a 55-year-old consultant who's working at an office job in Chicago. Both of these men want healthy skin, but their needs and their routines are going to be different. So with that being said, let's talk about common skincare products, when and how to use them. So the first product I want to talk about is going to be the soap, the cleanser that you're using to get rid of all the dirt, all the bacteria, everything that's on your body. What do you want to be using? And the answer is you want to be using as gentle of a soap as possible. Now, why do I say that? Why wouldn't you want to go for a super strong soap? One that's an antiseptic that will kill all the bacteria. One that's going to get rid of all the oil. One that's going to get rid of all the dirt. Don't you want that? The answer is no, because if you go with something too strong and you get rid of all that bacteria, which is pretty much impossible. But let's say you did. Guess what? All of a sudden, those bacteria were there for a reason. They actually ate and protected you from other things out there, which can now come on the skin and lead to infection. Another thing, talking about those oils, you need the oils on your skin. They actually help to maintain the moisture and to protect you from that, basically from drying out. And let's talk about dirt. In general, you do want to try to get rid of as much of that dirt because it's a breeding ground for bacteria, but it's a balance. You don't want to use an overly aggressive soap. Basically, your hands and your feet, they can deal with a lot more rough soap, but your face, your body, it's a lot thinner. And that's why you want to go with a soap that is specifically designed, because it's not going to be overkill. It's not going to pull too much of the oil. It's not going to pull too much of basically all that good stuff that's on your skin. Now, this next step applies to guys that shave, whether it be on their face or other parts of the body. If you've ever shaved anything, you know that you can get nicks, you can get cuts, you can get razor burn, you can get razor irritation. How to avoid that, how to get clean, healthy skin wherever you're shaving. So what you want to pay attention to is your shaving routine. The first thing I always like to look at, what are you doing for prep? Are you going in there and softening up the hair? This right here, I like to shave right out of the shower. I know some guys like to shave in the shower, but find a way to soften the hair and pay attention to the type of hair you have. A lot of guys, especially of African descent, you've got actually a slightly curved hair on the face. A lot of guys maybe with darker, thicker hair, curly hair, they also have this on the face. That can lead to bumps, especially if you're using a razor that actually pulls the hair up and cuts it too low. Because what's that do? It puts the basically that base of that hair right underneath the skin, and then all of a sudden you get the hair growing right into the skin. This leads to those bumps, the irritation. Maybe try changing up the razor that you're using. What type of razor? Using a disposable multi-blade razor? Maybe go to a straight razor. Maybe a little bit too much for some of you guys. Okay, go to a safety razor. Find a single blade razor. Go maybe even to an electric razor that isn't going to be pulling up and irritating that skin and causing the bumps. So you've prepped your face, you understand the hair type, and you're using the right type of razor. Now let's look at the shave map. The key here is to go with the grain. The grain is the direction in which the hair grows. And this is going to change at various parts of your face. But why don't you want to go against the grain? Well, if you go against the grain, you can, in theory, get a closer shave. But what you also do is you increase the likelihood that you're going to get an ingrown hair. The key is to have a shaving map, to understand the direction that's going to be optimum for your face. Next up, let's talk about the protective layer that's going to go on your skin, allowing the razor to glide across. The lubricant. A lot of guys are using stuff that comes out of a can. The problem with this is it uses propane as a propellant. That's not good for the skin. You don't want to be using this stuff. Yeah, I can't even pronounce the rest of the stuff. This isn't good for your skin. It irritates it, and it doesn't really do that great of a job, which is providing lubrication. What I recommend, starting off with a base layer of a shaving oil. And then you want to go over with a shaving cream. What I like about this combination is you've got two distinctive layers that are actually going to stay separated and provide extra protection whenever that razor is going across. This one tip right here is going to help prevent a lot of the razor burn or irritation. Now, you're also going to see shaving gels out there. Shaving gels, at least this one right here, is going to be transparent, and they're going to use a different type of lubricant. A lot of shaving gels as well have a cooling in them that basically like aloe vera, this one right here. So it's going to make it a little bit easier of a shave. But if you are having, let's say, irritation afterwards, you need to get back to using an aftershave. So an aftershave, and the difference between that and a moisturizer or any type of face moisturizer, aftershaves were designed to actually have an antiseptic in them. So basically, if you have any types of cuts, any type of irritation, these are going to go in there and they're going to clean them up and they're going to prevent infection. And gents, if you've ever cut yourself shaving and put toilet paper on it to stop the bleeding and then forgot about it, went to work, and it wasn't till lunchtime that somebody mentioned there's something on your face, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Go ahead and hit that like button. Now, gents, to be fully transparent, all the products you're going to see in today's video are brought to you by my company, Vitaman. Now, if you're an RMRS fan, you probably know that about a year ago, I acquired an ownership stake in Vitaman because I fell in love with the product. I was blown away at the aftershave that I got from Vitaman. Then I tried their face moisturizer. Absolutely loved it. Started trying their hair products, their shampoos. And all of a sudden I realized this is a company that I don't want to just promote. I want to have an ownership stake in. So I started talking to the founder, Claire Matthews. She focused in on Australia and a few other spas around the world. But I'm like, Claire, you got to get this out there to the masses. And that's what I'm doing. I'm on a mission to help bring Vitaman to you guys. Because when you look at the ingredient deck, these are using organic, natural ingredients. And in my opinion, these are the best grooming products on the planet. Seriously, gents, that's why I offer a 100% money-back guarantee, because I want you to try these products. I want you to compare them to the products you're using and to see the Vitaman difference. But if you're looking for any type of shaving product, whether it be a shaving gel, a shaving cream, an aftershave, we've got you covered. Our shave oil is friggin' awesome. Shampoos, if you've got oily hair, if you've got dry hair, if you have thin hair and you want to get a little bit of more volume in that hair, you need to check out our thin hair treatment kit. If you want to style your hair, we've got pomade, we've got gel, we've got a matte mud, and of course, we've got a styling cream. Looking for an anti-wrinkle serum? Looking for a skin protector? We've got you covered. And if you're tired of deodorants that are clogging up your pores with aluminum, check out our aluminum-free options. Okay, I clapped because I have to go back and take this out of the video later. But guys, I'm putting together a special deal for you down in the description of today's video. Go check out that link. This is a package deal that you're going to be able to save a huge amount on Vitaman. Why am I doing this? Because I want you to go in there and try whatever products you want. Put together your own perfect package. If you get these products, if you try them, if you use them, you're going to see that Vitaman difference and you're going to keep coming back. Gents, to get the best deal on the web for Vitaman, use that link down in the description. Next up, let's talk about moisturizers. In general, where the moisturizer says it should be applied, that's what you want to do, especially if it's a hand or foot moisturizer. Don't put that on your body and don't put that on your face. It may be too thick. It may clog up the pores and it may cause acne. So a face moisturizer is specifically designed to go onto that thinner skin of the face, not plug up those pores, keep it nice and clean. Now, body moisturizers, very similar to face moisturizers, but they're not going to have all the bells and whistles. These right here, they're going to have like firming serums in them. They're going to help get rid of wrinkles. You're usually not going to find that in the body moisturizers. So ounce for ounce, these are usually going to be less expensive. And these are also going to try to be a little bit, they're not going to have the oily type of feel that you're sometimes going to see in a face moisturizer or a hand moisturizer. So they're going to be a little bit thinner. Now, a lot of you guys are asking, come on, Antonio, does a real man need moisturizers? And my answer is it depends. I know I'm incredibly biased. I own a grooming company, but I do think here in the Midwest, during the winter, it gets incredibly cold and dry, and my skin gets irritated. I'm scratching it all the time unless I am using a body moisturizer when I get out of the shower. If you have perfect skin, if you have no issues, then you probably don't need a moisturizer. But if you find you're getting irritation, if you're getting redness, it is something you're starting, especially if you're getting cracked skin on your hands, then find a hand moisturizer made for cracked skin. Now, what about eye creams? Get rid of those black bags under the eyes. Or what about anti-aging, anti-wrinkle serums that get rid of wrinkles? How do these work and when should you start using them? So my advice would be look in your family, look at your dad, look at your mom, and notice how they're aging and when did wrinkles start to appear. Think about it like going to the gym. If you're in great shape, it's easier to stay in good shape. If you're in bad shape and you try to get into good shape, it's a lot harder. Same thing if you don't do anything about wrinkles and you're worried about that. You want to look younger. Look at what these things can do for you. Give them time, give them a few months. You would be surprised at what something like this can do for you, because basically these serums are going to have a really strong product deck, and that's one of the reasons they're so expensive, is that the products that go into these are highly concentrated and in a sense are supposed to replace, some of the elasticity and the collagen that go right into the skin, and they directly replace it, and that's the purpose of this. Now let's talk about face scrubs, aka exfoliators. So what these use are hard particles. In this case, we're using small bits of bamboo, and it's going in and it's removing the dead skin cells. So we talked about, yes, most of the layer of the epidermis is dead and it's being replenished, but sometimes you've got those dead layers that just stick around too long, and you want to go through and clean these off whenever you're washing your face. I highly recommend that if you're going to start using one, if you're under the age of 50, twice a week is perfectly fine. If you're over the age of 50, and again, this is a big generality, once a week, starting there is going to be fine. Because don't forget, as you age, your skin becomes thinner. You don't want to exfoliate all the time, otherwise you get really red skin. But in general, you're getting more circulation in the skin. You're getting it to go through and to reveal that lower layer, which is going to be a little bit more supple, is going to have more texture, is going to look a bit younger, and that's the purpose of the exfoliator. Now, with body exfoliators, you're going to see a wide variety of products being used out there. One of my favorites, though, is sea salt. So similar to the bamboo on the facial scrub, that sea salt on your body, it's just going to remove the dead skin cells. And where I find this is really useful for a lot of guys is when you get acne on the shoulders, on the chest, on the back. Using a body exfoliator like this can do wonders for that back knee and for other issues. Another thing I like about exfoliators is that if they've got a little bit of like just moisturizer in them as well, they can leave the skin really soft. And yeah, a lot of guys never even try one. Highly recommended. And gents, I know you got an opinion, so I want to hear from you down in the comments. What do you think of today's video? And now let's talk about one of the last taboos in men's skincare, and that is masks. So you can see different types out there, from anti-aging masks, which exactly as they sound. These are going to use the same things you're going to find on the anti-aging serums. You're going to put these on your face. You're going to leave them there anywhere from 10 to sometimes 30 minutes. And basically it's going to soak into the skin. And the idea is it's going to transfer right into that skin that's maybe a bit aged, is a bit brittle. It's going to make it more soft. It's going to make it stronger, more elastic. Now, the mud masks have a slightly different purpose. These go in there and their goal is to actually pull things out. So we talk about using a soap and how it's going to latch onto the things it should pull off. Mud masks do this, but they do this much gentler than soap. And it is something that as they're drying, they're slightly pulling it out. So you're going to find they're going to go through, they're going to pull out impurities, they're going to clean off a lot of that oil. And the idea with the mud mask is that after you use this mud mask and it's pulled off all of this, that then you go over with a moisturizer and you replace a lot of that oil. So what video to watch next? Gents, check out my American Psycho skincare routine. We had a lot of fun with this video. I think you'll enjoy it. Go check it out.